Hi, everybody, and welcome to Women's Radio. I'm Pat Lynch Barrett, your host, and today, once again, we have an amazing conversation with Christine Baumgartner. She is a relationships, I'd have to call her a guru. She is really, really good, and if you've listened, you will probably agree with me. And if you haven't, then you want to go back and catch up on all the great information, and she keeps referring to it, and they're all up. So pretty soon she's going to need her own tab. But we're going to have a great discussion today. We've had a discussion about don't quit. Then we had a discussion about stop over working. But now we're going to have a discussion about ask for help. And I think it's one of the things that has been hardest for me to do. And it's hard for a lot of people, especially for people with a lot of energy. They want to get things done, that kind of scenario. So then they feel like if they're doing it and people see them, they ought to just kind of join in. But no, it doesn't work like that. So Christine is going to tell us how to do it. So stay tuned. Hey, Christine, welcome.
Hi, Pat. Oh, it's always such a delight to talk to you. And this is going to be such a good dovetail from last week when we talked about overdoing and overwhelmed and over committed and exhausted and how awful that feels.
Indeed.
And so this is one of a really good remedy for that. It's a very good thing to learn. And as you said, it's very hard. It's very hard for women to ask for help. I think a lot of the time, we feel like we have a purpose if we're busy and doing things and feel like we're helping people. And we also really believe, I used to be one of those, nobody can do it as good as me, or it'll take me so long to explain it to somebody, I might as well do it myself. And even if I explain it to them, they're probably not going to do it my way, the right way. I'm going to have to redo it anyway. It's a big challenge. I mean, it's a real challenge for sure. So
I bet you've answered some of those questions by now, though. So you're going to do that for all of us, right?
Yeah. Because one of the things that I had to learn was, what are the things that are the most important for me personally to do? I'll feel the best about doing it. It'll give me a sense of accomplishment. I really do have my way of doing it, and it makes me feel good to do it my way. And it can't be everything. That was the hard decision because I wanted to be everything. So then right below that, just a little bit, there needs to be another category of what might be good enough. Certainly even good enough for me. I think I might have mentioned, it's been recent, I'm not sure if it was on this when I said it was a big step for me to learn I could vacuum one room of my house instead of my whole house.
That's fun without doing the whole house.
So if we just give ourselves a little grace of what is good enough right now? What can I stop? For me, we're not even talking about help yet. This is helping yourself. What do I not have to do everything all the time at the same time complete? Are there places I can say, I'll do that in an hour, or I can let that go for tomorrow. I'm going to put it on the list so I won't forget. So if we've given ourselves a little grace and we think, well, maybe there might be a couple things I don't have to do all by myself right now. I wonder if there's anybody else around that would like to do it. And you said such a perfect thing, because we think if we're doing something, we're busy, often, not always, but often another woman will go, oh, let me come help. Because we like helping, we like feeling friendly. Mm-hmm. We want you to like us because we helped. Mm-hmm. Men often wait to be asked. They're very happy to help. They're really happy to help. Now, just generally, they don't jump in because they don't see the little detail things that we're messing with. They just don't even see it. It's not that they're ignoring it. It's not that they're not paying attention. They don't see it. It's not even in their orbit. Mm-hmm, but nowadays, I talk to lots of men, and I've certainly heard lots of them who tried to do something, and they were summarily corrected. So they loaded the dishwasher wrong. They folded the towels wrong. They didn't put the trash together right. So if they hear, and and they're really wanting to do stuff to take a burden off of us, to have us
Mhm.
think, wow, how nice that they're helping us. And so often we're women like, well, it's their trash too. They should just know to take it out. I should never have to thank them for doing anything. Yeah, I was one of those. And what I learned was if I asked, said, gosh, I really appreciate this. This would make me happy if you did this for me. And then they did it. And I said, thank you. They do it again.
Oh, surprise, surprise,
It
right?
was a surprise because I didn't know that's how it works. That's how it works. It's like getting the manual for your phone or your computer or your car. If you say, but I want to put the key in here, but that's not where the key goes, you're not going anywhere in your car. So if
Right.
the key to having them help you is to say, I really need your help, and this would make me so happy, and then he goes and does it, and you say, thank you, you're getting it done. Don't mess with the means. The means is making your head hurt. So many men have been corrected that they stop because they don't want to keep making us mad. They don't want to keep making us unhappy. And if all they've ever heard, they never hear, thanks for loading the dishwasher. You could even then say, may I show you the way I'd like it? Would you be able to do it that way? If not, fine, just load the dishwasher your way because I'm happy to have you load it. But all they hear is us being helpful, which sounds critical to them, and they will stop every time, every time. And then we think they're a bunch of lazy jerks.
You know, Christine, this is interesting because I have a dear friend, and I don't even want to tell you how long I've known this person, but I've known them long enough to have known his first wife. And she made, and I'm always praising him because I'm always thinking he is one of the smartest people I've ever met. You know, she was clearly tired of hearing that. And she said, yeah, but you don't have to ask him to take out the trash. And I'm thinking, I keep thinking about that. I'm thinking, I bet that's why they ended up getting a divorce. She just couldn't say anything nice, about, thank you for taking out the trash. And so, it just didn't work out.
I had a client, a male client, who had a friend whose friend I never met, but I did meet. I had an ongoing coaching relationship with my client. And he said, because we got talking about this. And so he got a chance to have, his wife knew he was talking to me to make him a better man. So she was open to him saying, would you ask it this way? And she did. And he was happy to take out the trash. And she always said, thank you. So he was telling this to his friend, and his friend said, oh, this friend's a heart surgeon. He said, I could come home and tell my wife I saved somebody's life, and she would explain to me I forgot to take out the trash in them. It's funny
Right.
and sad because this man, his friend, really wanted to please his wife. There's jerks and assholes, men and women. So I'm not talking about them,
No,
but I'm
no.
talking about the good men, which is most of them, who truly want to do something to help us. So a lot of our conversations are about the business atmosphere. So the way that you work with a man in a business atmosphere is if you're feeling overwhelmed, and we've talked about this a little bit a couple of times before, but in this context, you go to him, your direct report, or somebody who's like a cross colleague. I've been working on this thing and it's getting away from me, or gosh, I needed extra help. I really need your help. Men's antenna will just perk up. I can help.
Yes.
I can fix something. That's in their DNA. So I really need your input. I need your to do this thing for me, or to talk about this with me, or give me some advice. They will jump right in.
You're so right. And you know what? Talking about being able to say please is one issue and thank you is the other one, right? And you'd think we had learned this lesson when we were, what, 2 and 3. But I think that women also don't feel appreciated enough. And for your quote girlfriends, and if you do ask them and you do say thank you, they just really, they appreciate it so much because we're not getting our fair share of thank yous
That's
as we get
true.
older.
So I
So,
get that argument all the time. So why should I say it would make me happy to take out the trash and say thank you to him for taking out the trash, because nobody says thank you to me? And I said, well, since I'm talking to you on the phone, Miss Female Person, I'm going to tell you how to remedy that. You're not going to like this solution either. They don't like the please and thank you about the trash. Next time you make dinner and you bring it out and you set it in front of your lovely family, you say, I want every one of you to say, thank you, Mom, for making dinner. Oh, the faces I get. I shouldn't have to ask. It doesn't count if I have to ask. I want them to really mean it. I said, well, okay, I got all that. And how many times are you getting thanked now? None. Would they say thank you if you ask them to? Yeah, probably. Yeah, they have to think about it for a minute, but yeah, probably. I said, so they really don't want to not appreciate you. They just have not heard the instructions of how to appreciate you. I said, and the carrot that I'm going to dangle in front of you even more, let's make it not all about you. Now your children have learned that when somebody puts food in front of them to say thank you when they go off to a friend's house and their mom puts, they'll say thank you. What a good thing to teach
Amen.
your children. So we women just need to be more proactive in this way, in this queen benevolent way, instead of getting all in bitchy because people are not appreciating us. First, we're overdoing. So we're not appreciating ourselves. We're not getting ourselves a break. And then we're not letting anybody else help us. And then we're not saying, gosh, look at all the stuff I did. I need some appreciation for that. Come on, give it to me. I want to hear. I slaved over a hot stove to make this great dinner for all of you. I want y'all to say thank you. And it's amazing. I mean, I have had, I'll say everybody who did it, it was 100% success. There's still
Wow.
people that wouldn't do it.
Really?
Mhm. There used to be a psychologist on the radio named Dr. Tony Grant, and she
I
frequently
remember.
said to women, never men, you have two choices. Do you want to be right? Do you want to be loved? You can't have both.
Uh-huh.
And there are women that are bound and determined to just be right. It's really
You're so
sad because
right.
we put ourselves in this box where then we stay kind of miserable if we're just going to be right all the time and not allow somebody to love us and appreciate us. If we would just open a little bit, if we could accept it in a little bit different way than the rigid way that we're saying it has to only be this way. One of my favorite, remember Home Improvement? And Patricia Heaton was explaining to Tim Allen about there were 4 sponges. There's the sponge for the dishes, there's the sponge for the counters, there's the sponge for the floor, and there's the sponge for other things, and they're all different colors. And his head's already exploding. And then I rotate him every week. And he's like, I know there's sponges, but so rigid.
I'd have to have a sponge chart.
I would too. And so if you have a thing about sponges and it's really important to you, then you be in charge of the sponges. Don't, but she wanted him to care about the sponges as much as her. But if you're going to want somebody to clean up, say, here's the sponge, go clean up with this sponge. I mean, give them some leeway to do it as right as possible. So asking for help, I've heard all the objections. People should just know. People, if they cared about me enough, I do too much and so much. Well, there's the extreme. Neither one of those is working for you. You do too much, don't feel thanked. You do too much, you don't feel thanked. So if you stop doing too much, you won't be so resentful. And if you let people help you, that would be good too. And then if you say, gosh, I need some thank you for all the crap I do around here, and make people do it. It makes better manners. Kids don't have good manners nowadays. It's a really good thing to teach children manners.
It really is. In fact,
Mm.
I just finished putting some books that had been in boxes up on the bookshelf, and I came across 4 etiquette books. And I'm thinking, I should be the norm. Everybody should have 4 etiquette books, right? But you go out in public and you see kids that don't listen, talk too loud, want to grab all the attention, and you think, what's wrong with this picture?
And part of the
There,
problem I see is people keep telling their child, say please, say thank you, but the parent never says it to the child and they
right?
never say it to the other parent. So
Yes,
I've learned over so much time of spending so much time with kids,
demonstrate.
kids, kids pay about between 10 and 20% of what we say. Most of their attention watches what we do and they copy it or rebel against it. So if
Mhm.
you say please and thank you to your child, if you say please and thank you to your partner, and then you ask your child to say please and thank you, it's already been a listened to habit because
Yes,
it's too foreign if you just keep telling them to do it. And they're like, why am I doing this? Because everybody around my house
right.
swears and yells at each other.
No, you're absolutely right. And I notice kids from homes, if I know their parents, and you can tell the difference all the time. And I think probably it's true with just about everyone. I think the things that work, they just seem to work universally. That's why I just love having you here and telling us all the conversations that you get to have that we can learn from, and kind of step right over the problem and go right to the solution. So I hope that everybody's gotten as much as I've gotten. I have a feeling there are other aspects of this that we haven't explored yet. So, you know, we probably could come back to it easily.
Oh yeah, this is so the tip of the iceberg. And the thing of it is, I have so many people use the word, but it's hard. And I said, when you started in school, was math hard? Was spelling hard? Was history hard? Was English hard? You did it anyway. You learned it. Tying your shoes was hard. Learning your phone was hard. So if it's a priority, that's what we have to decide. It was a priority to learn math, even if it was just to get out of school. You had to do it to take the test.
You have to do it. Yeah.
So then learn this, how to give yourself some grace, how to allow somebody else to do something for you and say thank you. Allow yourself to have more of a flow in your life, because if you have to be in charge of everything all the time, it's too rigid and exhausting.
Right.
Nobody's their best self if that's how their life is. That's why people can develop so many health problems from that. It's not like they don't from other things, but stress is the worst thing for our bodies.
I totally agree with that. I love the other part that you were talking about. You can be right or you can be loved, I think. And I want us to return to that.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people, they also mishear things. They take things as being insulting or whatever, when maybe that wasn't meant. And then well, I just can't be friends with that person anymore. They really cut their nose off to spite their face. And
The
I'm not sure why
misunderstanding,
people do that.
the misunderstanding that somebody's misbehaving is rampant. And it's most often. And the thing is, we won't notice the people being real jerks if we think everybody's being a jerk. Because most everybody's not being a jerk, really. So, I have lots of examples I can give for that.
Well, let's come back to that subject. I think that all these things, I think it's more easily learned when we get to have these conversations in front of people, and we can tell them about other people. And then we get to kind of lean back and say, oh, you know, I did this. Maybe I should have said it a different way, but how can I get back so that the relationship that I really want is there? What do I need to do? Or how can this happen without me begging at somebody's door, that kind of thing. So it's a bigger conversation that I'm real eager to have with you.
Me too. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Well, Christine, as always, I get so much out of these, and I hope that everybody is. And we'd love to hear from you. So please do write us, team at women-corp.com. We'd love to hear from you, and there are going to be more interesting things happening soon. So please get in touch and let us know what you think. Thank you. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Pat.